Why, hello everybody, and welcome to the Truly Odd podcast, where we bring you the latest in game news and movie news. I'm your host, Joe Garcia. So grab your controllers, get your popcorn, and let's go ahead and dive right on into these topics, shall we? Starting with our game news topics of the day. And our first game news topic of the day is regarding Atari. It looks like Atari has revived their Intellivision. Let's go ahead and take a look here. Atari has unveiled the Intellivision Sprint at $149.99 HDMI compatible console launching on December 5th, featuring 45 built-in games, wireless controllers, and a dock for charging. Let's go ahead and take a look at some of these images here. Looks like the classic console, but with more wireless features. It looks pretty interesting and pretty cool. And here are some of the games that you'll be able to play with this cool. Now, I don't know if this is a mini console. I didn't see anything saying that it'd be a mini console or anything like that. It might be full size, but I do think this is really, really cool and super retro if you guys are into retro consoles. Let me break down to you guys some more details here. While Sprint doesn't support original game cartridges, it includes a USB-A port with for library expansion and compatibility with legacy Intellivision controllers via adaptive ports. The announcement video, backed by Wave Sharp and Oscillion Track, I think I'm saying that right, celebrates the 1979 console legacy with updated hardware and classics like Astro Smash, BD-17 Bomber, and Snafu, which are, I don't think Snafu's listed here, but here are some of the games that are interesting. Now, this is a bit this is way before my time, so this isn't something that I would necessarily be interested in myself, but I do think this is a awesome little collector's item that you could possibly get. And I'm loving the way this looks. It looks so cool. Just the idea for a console like this, and to have it more modernized with wireless features, even playing classic games like this, it might be something I have to pick up. Now, I think they also did like their Atari 2600 and 400 Mini. So I'm not sure if this will be a mini. I haven't seen anything regarding it being that. So if you guys know more, let me know in the comments down below. And as far as the announcement trailer, I haven't come across it, so I'll probably be on the lookout for that as well. But I'm curious to know what you guys think about this little console, and if you guys would be interested in purchasing it. I would like to have it just to have it on the shelf personally, but I probably wouldn't be interested in playing the game. Sadly, they're just before my time, and I don't get no nostalgic from it. But let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Alright guys, let's go ahead and move over to our next game news topic of the day. And our next game news topic of the day is regarding Marvel Rivals is launching a PvE zombies mode inspired by the Marvel Zombie series. Let's go ahead and take a look here at this article from IGN. Now, we do have a little bit of gameplay here. Nothing. Now, I'm not sure if this is actual. Oh, forgive me, guys. Ads suck, but they are what they are. Now, I'm not sure if this is actual in-game footage or if someone modded something on PC, but I'm assuming this is what it is. The only weird part is I'm wondering why they're only allowing up to a certain amount of characters, which would be Thor, Punisher, Magic, Blade, and Jeff. I don't know why they would just select those ones. I thought it'd be interesting to see like a Moon Knight in there, or some more tanks possibly, get Doctor Strange in there. But I guess they're just trying to balance it out and see how it works. But let me go ahead and read to you guys some of the details. Marvel Rivals introduces Marvel Zombies, a survival-based PvE. Excuse me. Let me play this while I read this to you guys. Sorry. A survival-based PvE experience featuring endless waves of undead and boss battles against zombie Namor and the Queen of the Dead. Players can fight as Thor, Blade, Magic, Jeff, and the Punisher, each equipped with specialized abilities tailored to zombie combat, including Magic's Dark Child form and Blade's Moon Blades. Zombie mode is scheduled to release on October 23rd, 2025. So right in time for Halloween season. So this is very interesting that they're introducing a mode like this. I do think it would be a lot of fun to check it out. Now, I'm not sure what the objectives will be for players playing this mode. If they have to, reach a certain point, or make it to a certain point, stop the zombies from reaching a certain point, or just survive as long as you can. but I do think this is very interesting. I honestly stopped playing Marvel Rivals a while back, but something like this would interest me in coming back and taking a look at checking out how the PvE gameplay is. Sadly, there are a lot of games to play, so I might not actually get a chance to get to it, but I'm going to mark it on my calendar for October 23rd to check it out when it is dropping. But let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Are you excited to check out a PvE version for Marvel Rivals with some zombies? Let me know what you guys think. Alright, guys. Moving on to our next game news topic of the day. And our next game news topic of the day is regarding the Dead Space creator Glen Schofield is in the news again. And he's talking about the game industry is broken, beaten, and battered. Let's go ahead and take a look here at this article from IGN. Now, he was in the news recently about speaking with EA to get another Dead Space up and going with Dead Space 4, but it looked like he was continuing some of the things he was saying regarding how the game industry has kind of faltered as of late. And let's go ahead and take a look here. The Dead Space creator advocated for widespread AI training across all roles in game development, emphasizing its potential to boost efficiency without replacing human creativity. He criticized underfunded AAA projects and misaligned leadership, calling for more financial backing and creative-led studio management to restore quality and innovation. Schofield. Hold on, something popped up on my fucking computer, made me lose my spot. Schofield passionately called for the revival of E3, also citing its collaborative spirit and closed by reaffirming. And he closed his statements. He closed his statements by reaffirming that the heart of the industry lies in ideas, passion, and its developers. So, and there's more that he said in this article. So if you guys want to take a look for yourself, I'll have everything in the link in this description down below. Links to all these articles if you guys want to read it for yourself. But it seems that this year specifically has been very difficult for the game industry, and it makes a lot of sense that creators are getting fed up. You know, E3 is something that is beneficial for the industry. You know, you got other teams communicating, collaborating, partying together, really sharing ideas and growing in the industry and building rapport with each other. As far as underfunded AAA games, I disagree with that aspect. And the reason I disagree with that is because I don't feel that the projects are necessarily underfunded. I feel that the projects are being developed at a scope that is too wide for what they have. A good example would be some of the games that have been canceled recently with like Perfect Dark at Xbox. That game should have had a modest budget at around $50 million to develop it, create it, and get it up and out of the way. And I feel like they've spent more than that. If not, they weren't even close to being done. So it's hard to say. So a good example is we've been speaking about the team for Ghost of Yotei at Sucker Punch, working on one game every 5 years and having $60 million for both Ghost of Tsushima and Ghost of Yotei, and they've both basically made their money back within the first week or two of the release. So I think doing games like that is the way to go. Now, I'm not saying that you won't be able to balance 2 or 3 projects. It depends on the scope and how big your company is. But being able to know what your budget's going to be and what your game is going to be going into it is very beneficial for teams. And I feel like a lot of industries, a lot of bigger companies like Activision, Ubisoft have really fallen far from the tree when it comes to knowing this and developing in this way. And I think the reason for that is basically because you're trying to appeal to stakeholders. And I'm not saying that that's bad. It's good that you have companies that are publicly traded. But when you appeal to stakeholders, you're more of an analytics and not creative. And the people that got brought into the company to support it, the players, go off the creativity and of the developers, not off of the analytics for the company. So I just think a lot of companies need to realize that and kind of focus on that aspect. Focus on the players, because those are the people that are going to continue to support you, and not necessarily the numbers. The numbers will come if the product is really good. Anyway, guys, that being said, let me know what you guys think about his comments in the comments down below. And do you agree with him that the game industry currently is broken, beaten, and battered? Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Alright guys, let's go ahead and move over to our next game news topic of the day. And our next game news topic of the day is regarding the former Assassin's Creed boss has come out and commented saying his Ubisoft exit was not voluntary. Let's go ahead and take a look at this article here from IGN. So that we're speaking about this gentleman here. If you guys are curious, his name is I always get his name wrong. Marc-Alexis Côté. I think that's how you pronounce that. Forgive me if I'm saying his name wrong. Anyways, in a candid LinkedIn post, longtime Assassin's Creed leader Marc-Alexis Côté reveals he was asked to step aside, uh, declining a lesser role within Tencent's backed Vanguard studio. Côté joined Ubisoft in 2005 and played a key role in major Assassin's Creed titles, eventually spearheading the franchise's modern roadmap, including Shadows, Hex, which is supposedly coming out sometime soon, and the new multiplayer project. And he stated the following: Ubisoft decided to transfer the leadership to the Assassin's Creed franchise to someone closer to the new organizational structure. A different position was mentioned for me, but I didn't. But it did not carry the same scope, mandate, or continuity with the work I had been entrusted with in recent years. So, not necessarily they booted him, but they were demoting him nonetheless. And so, this is really interesting to see that this happened with this creator, because Assassin's Creed, besides the backlash it got from Shadows, Assassin's Creed has been a very successful franchise, continuing to move forward and develop under his leadership, especially with Shadows and Hex and whatever other projects he worked. I mean, he's been there since 2005, so he has 20 years of projects that he's worked on with this company. So he has very, very good tenure, if you ask me. So I'm very curious as to why they didn't allow him to continue his leadership input into the Assassin's Creed franchise. Especially, I know they offered him a lesser role, but still, that's kind of an insult to someone that has been leading the team and leading the development cycle of your projects for so long. Maybe they want to take the franchise in a different route. Maybe they want different like inputs. Maybe they want to go back to maybe the original way Assassin's Creed was developed, as far as like the gameplay. Who knows what they want to do, but I just think this is very interesting and very weird that they ended up offering him a lesser role. And yeah, I think he deserved what he has been working on for the past years. You don't want to be demoted, so I'm sure he's going to move on to other bigger projects, and we'll see what he ends up doing. But let me know what you guys think about this in the comments down below. Do you feel like the team over at Assassin's Creed with Vanguard Studios is right to give him a bit of a demotion and offer him lesser, or do you think they should have kept him on, continuing to work on the Assassin's Creed franchise? Let me know what you guys think. All right, guys, that being said, let's move over to our last game news topic of the day. And our last game news topic of the day is regarding Silent Hill 2 Remake has hit 2.5 million in sales, making the series surpass 10 million globally. Let's go ahead and take a look at this article from IGN as well. So, Konami confirmed the remake has sold 2.5 million copies worldwide, up from 1 million in its first week, marking a major success for the revived horror franchise. The Silent Hill series has now shipped over 10 million units globally, despite being dormant for more than a decade before its recent resurgence. Silent Hill 2 Remake joins PlayStation Plus Extra on October 21st, alongside other horror titles, while Silent Hill F earns praise for its dark narrative despite mixed combat reception. I think this is very interesting, to the fact that they were able to make it to 10,000 and being quiet for 10 years. That just lets you know the longevity of how players felt about the Silent Hill franchise when it first came out. And with other projects being in the works, like possibly the Silent Hill 1 remake and possibly a new Silent Hill game also in development now that F did so successfully, it just shows you that, continuing to work on franchises and bringing franchises back like this is beneficial for not only the players but for the companies as well, especially when you get new graphics, new controls, and new things like that. So I'm not a big Silent Hill guy myself. Like I said before, I'm a bit of a bitch when it comes to horror games, so I don't play them. But I do think that it's really, really good and really awesome to see companies continue to support remakes like this and to show that they're very successful and worth doing and worth putting the time into. But let me know what you guys think about this in the comments down below. Are you surprised that they've reached 10 million units sold worldwide, even though they went dormant for about 10 years. I'm curious to know what you guys think. All right, guys, that being said, let's go ahead and move on to our movie news topics. And our first movie news topic of the day is regarding Zendaya and Robert Pattinson are filming a rom-com called The Drama, set for April 3rd release with A24. Let's go ahead and take a look here. A24 will release The Drama on April 3rd, 2026, starring Zendaya and Robert Pattinson as a couple navigating unexpected challenges before their wedding. The drama follows a couple whose relationship is shaken by unexpected revelations just days before their wedding. As emotions run high and secrets surface, the film explores the tensions between love, trust, and the pressures of commitment, all with a sharp satirical edge. The film is directed and written by Christopher Bruegel. I hope I'm saying that right. From Dream Scenario fame. Zendaya and Pattinson will also co-star in Christopher Nolan's The Odyssey and Denis Villeneuve's Dune Part 3. So interesting, guys. I don't really. Okay, so firstly, I don't trust A24 anymore with rom-coms. I thought that Chris Evans, Pedro Pascal, and the girl from Madam Web and 50 Shades, why can't I think of her name? Anyways, I thought that movie was going to be a good rom-com, but it was not rom-com. It was a rom-dram. There was hardly any comedy or any funny bits in that movie. It was just fully more dramatic edge. So I'm hoping that this was more leaning towards the rom-com. Now I've seen images of this of them on set filming this film, and a lot of people were saying it was from Spider-Man, but I guess it was from this rom-com. So hopefully it ends up being really good and it leans more towards the comedy than more of the drama aspect. I mean, it is called The Drama, so who knows? We'll have to wait and see what happens. As far A24 lost my vote when it comes to rom-coms, but let me know what you guys think about this in the comments down below. Are you excited to check out The Drama? All right, guys. Let's go ahead and move over to our next movie news topic of the day. And our next movie news topic of the day is regarding Tom Arnold wraps his directorial debut with the Breakup Pill, a high concept romantic comedy. Now this will probably be a rom-com. If you don't know who Tom Arnold is, he used to star in Roseanne, and he was also in True Lies, who he filmed alongside Arnold Schwarzenegger in that film, and Jamie Lee Curtis. So if you don't know who he is, he's a pretty funny guy. I've liked him in True Lies. Mind you, True Lies is probably one of my favorite action films of all time. I can watch that over and over again, and I love his performance in it. He was hilarious, so I think he brought a lot to that. Now, I haven't really seen him over the years and other things that he's been working on, so I've kind of fell off from Tom Arnold. But I do appreciate his comedic inputs when he is in films, and I do see him. So, but that being said, let's talk about The Breakup Pill. The Breakup Pill follows a heartbroken young man who joins a drug trial to erase breakup pain, only to lose the ability to fall in love just as he meets the perfect match. Tom Arnold directs and stars in the film alongside Macab Gregg, I hope I'm saying that right, and Taladoon, working from a script by Adam Lorenzo from Everyone Loves Raymond and Everyone Hates Chris fame. Shot in Los Angeles, the film completed post-production despite setbacks from January SoCal wildfires, which destroyed Lorenzo's home. But it looks like we finally got the film up and running, and hopefully this film is successful so Lorenzo could build another home. A lot of people from that LA fire has been dealing with a lot of issues. But here's a little set photo. Now, I thought the photo was going to be a bit bigger, but I guess these are the two stars of the movie. But it does sound like an interesting concept, seeing that someone does a drug trial and finds the woman that he's probably going to fall in love with, and then the pills stop him from doing so. So I'd be interested to seeing how this film turns out. Like I said, I have liked Tom Arnold's comedic input on things when he's in film, so I'm curious how he would do as a director and also starring alongside. So this movie definitely interests me, and I'll be on the lookout for it. But let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Is this something that you guys will be interested in checking out, or is it not really a movie for you guys? Let me know. All right, guys, that being said, let's move on to our next movie news topic. And our next movie news topic is regarding Lawrence Fishburne is eyeing Professor X role in Marvel's X-Men reboot. Let's go ahead and take a look here at this article from Deadline. At New York Comic Con, the Matrix star expressed interest in playing Charles Xavier in Marvel's upcoming X-Men reboot, directed by Jack Scarier. I'm probably butchering his last name. Forgive me. He stated the following: "I know that it's. Oh, excuse me. I know that you're Excuse me. Sorry. I know that there's talks about X-Men now. So at this point, I want one of two things. The first thing would be I would do oh, excuse me. The first thing would be, what do you think about Lawrence Fishburne as Professor X? Question mark. And the crowd went wild, of course, with thinking Lawrence Fishburne as Professor X. I'm sure that would be absolutely wonderful. He is a phenomenal actor, so no complaints here for me about him starring. But before we continue any other comments moving forward, as of right now, Patrick Stewart will reprise his role as Professor X in Avengers Doomsday alongside other Fox era X-Men stars, marking the end of that continuity. At least it's supposed to mark the end of that continuity. We'll have to wait and see what happens in the film. But that being said, I think this is great. I think he would do phenomenal as Professor X, and I know it is a reboot, so to introduce a new Magneto would be absolutely awesome. So you can never say no to great talented actors wanting to take on roles. Now they can find someone else, of course, to do the role, but I think this would be phenomenal casting. The only problem with it is that Lawrence Fishburne was in Ant-Man and the Wasp. So because he's already in the MCU, that might cause a problem. However, this is a multiverse, so I'm not sure if these X-Men are gonna continue to be on the same planet as our current MCU, or if we're gonna take place like kind of how the Fantastic Four did in their own universe for these X-Men. So it all varies on what is gonna become of the MCU after Secret Wars. Maybe the Earths will combine. Who knows? What we're just gonna have to wait and see what happens. But if it is a multiversal thing, we can see Lawrence Fishburne as that. But if it's not going to be a multiversal thing, I think it might be confusing for some people to see Lawrence Fishburne as Professor X, since he was in Ant-Man and the Wasp. Now, mind you, I wouldn't mind it myself. I wouldn't be confused, but it might confuse some people. But I do think he's a phenomenal actor, and if he wants the role, I mean, I unless you find someone else worthy of the role, I say give it to the man. I mean, he's absolutely phenomenal actor. But let me know what you guys think about Lawrence Fishburne as Professor X. Do you think it shouldn't happen because he's already had a role in Ant-Man and the Wasp, or do you think it would be worth it giving him the role of Professor X after Patrick Stewart? Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. And also, who would you guys cast as Magneto if Lawrence Fishburne were to play Professor X? Let me know what you guys think. All right, guys, let's go ahead and move over to our next movie news topic of the day. And our next movie news topic of the day is regarding the Horizon Zero Dawn movie is targeting a 2027 release as Sony builds its sci-fi franchise potential. Now, mind you, Sony has been getting into the film industry little by little with smaller projects like Uncharted, Gran Turismo, and The Last of Us on TV. They are also currently working on a God of War series for Amazon, and now they are working on a Horizon Zero Dawn film. Let's go ahead and take a look here at this article from comicbook.com. Sony plans to begin filming Horizon Zero Dawn movie in 2026 with a 2027 release, backed by a completed script and an active search for a director. Now, I think they know it's a completed script as of now because they're currently going through a lawsuit with the Light of Moria or whatever that game is. And I believe during that lawsuit, they kind of had to incorporate some of what's going on script-wise for their film because they're continuing to utilize the franchise. And they also said that they're currently working on a Horizon 3 as well within this lawsuit. That might be something we talk about next week, depending if there's more details, but that's just some of the details for you guys. Anyways, the film may coincide with the launch of Horizon 3 and possibly the PlayStation 6, positioning the franchise for a major cross-media spotlight with 2027 with 2027 packed with major releases like Avengers Secret War and The Legends of Zelda. Sony aims to secure a strategic release window and build a lasting sci-fi film series. I think this game is very, very great for potential for a live action adaptation. There's a lot going on with this story, so I'm not sure if they're going to be able to cover the entirety of the first game with the story like this, but what they could come up with. And I actually don't hope they follow the story of the movie. I don't mind it being Aloy. I don't mind her early life. All that can stay the same. But I think the story being told should differentiate in a way to incorporate. You have to adapt it, and to make it a not as wild and big. And sadly, we can't use some of the actors that were in the movie. I forget his name, forgive me, but he was in the John Wick franchise. Sadly, he passed away. I would have loved to have seen him reprise his role in this movie in a live action adaptation. But yeah, as you can see from this image here, just it looks great what a live action movie could be and would look like. I think it's very, very awesome, and I'm very excited to see what other things that Sony does with a lot of their franchises. Like I've said before, the things that they have worked on when it comes to film so far have all been decent. Uncharted was okay, but all the other ones have been pretty good. The Last of Us has been phenomenal. Now, for some reason, I didn't watch the season 2, probably because I know what happens in the game, so I just wasn't interested. But Gran Turismo again was phenomenal, so I'm very excited to see what they do with God of War and now with Horizon Zero Dawn. But let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Are you guys excited for a Horizon Zero Dawn movie? Let me know. All right, guys, we're going to go ahead and move over to our last movie news topic of the day. And our last movie news topic of the day is regarding the Avengers Doomsday writer Michael Waldron endorses Glen Powell as Nova in the MCU. Now, mind you, this isn't casting news or anything like that. This is just the co-writer Michael Waldron talking about Nova himself. But Avengers Doomsday co-writer Michael Waldron believes Glen Powell would be an ideal fit to play Richard Rider, also known as Nova, citing their creative synergy on Hulu's Chad Powers. So I think this is just coming out, this show, Chad Powers on Hulu. I haven't heard of it, so let me know what you guys think. Is this an older show or is this a newer show? I'm not exactly sure, but I guess he was the writer on that show, and he really got along with Glen Powell and really felt that his acting ability would be a great fit for a character like Nova. The character has been teased since Guardians of the Galaxy, with a Disney Plus series announced back in 2022, but later put on hold, sparking speculation about a shift to a feature film. With breakout roles in Top Gun Maverick, Hitman, Powell's growing popularity, and Waldron's endorsement could finally bring Nova project to life. I will tell you this, it depends on how The Running Man does, but if The Running Man is successful, that means Glen Powell is now a star and he's leading films on his own. Now he's a leading man and he's not that expensive. And let me explain. So the movies that Glen Powell has been in, like Hitman, was a direct to Netflix, but it garnered his popularity. He wasn't the lead in Top Gun Maverick. He was more of a side character, but still stood out. He was also a co-lead in Twisters, so he's been building up his career widely, but he hasn't fully led a... how do I say this? Twisters was a bit of a continuation slash reboot, but Running Man is a complete reboot, very much different from Arnold Schwarzenegger's movie, and a remake, so... another example would be Total Recall, how that remake didn't do very well. So if this remake does very well with Glen Powell, then his notoriety and his name will be even more valuable. So if he's interested in playing Nova after talking with Michael, and Michael's willing to write a script, we're probably going to end up seeing a Nova film if that ends up being the case sometime after Doomsday or Secret Wars. So we'll see what ends up happening there, and I'd be very interested to check out that project. I think Nova is a very underutilized character so far in the MCU because they teased the Nova Corps quite a while ago. So after what's happened on Xandar in the MCU with Thanos kind of attacking them and taking the Power Stone, I think them investing in a new Nova Corps with powered characters like this to protect the planet makes sense, at least in so far in the lore that we've seen from the MCU. So I'd be very curious how that would turn out. But let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Would you guys like to see Glen Powell as Nova, or would you like to see him play someone else in the MCU, or would you not want him to be in the MCU at all? Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. All right, guys, that's a wrap for today's episode of the Truly Odd Podcast. Thank you guys so much for joining me. If you like this episode, please like and subscribe. And always, guys, remember, stay true, be odd.